All right, thanks, Kev. AT&T halftime report on a Tuesday night here in Atlanta on TBS. It's 51-46. The Raptors on top of the Wizards. Vince Carter with 16, and Michael Jordan held to 3 on just 1 of 5 shooting. And I know that this guy would be so interested in a matchup like this with the North Carolina ties, obviously. And a friend of mine wanted you to know, by the way, that on Franklin Street last week they caught 2 terrorists. Bin crying and bin drinking. But anyway.
I'll humor you.
Come on, that where is it?
You don't deserve that.
Oh, come on. Now, what do you make of the head-to-head thing tonight?
Well,
don't laugh, Kenny.
He just got it.
But it hasn't developed. It hasn't developed. You know, it's been a lot of missed easy shots on both. Michael got in foul trouble, missed easy shots, 2 things that haven't really occurred. You had Tyrone Nesby missing shots. Michael's able to get inside, get Popeye Jones a layup. He misses a layup. So that really hasn't developed, and the foul trouble, I think, really hurt in the first quarter. But, you know, everyone always wants to know what's the mark of a great player. And the mark of a great player to me is a person who's able to be a great individual and get their great stats. But this is the kicker. Being able to get your great stats while you don't inhibit the other players on your team and you make them better. And a lot of guys can be, oh, I got mine, what did you do? But Michael Jordan, oh, no question. You didn't do it. You didn't help us out tonight. Yeah. But you have to be able to get yours, help other players get theirs, and not inhibit them from getting theirs as well.
I just heard that somewhere.
No question.
From Kenny.
Oh, yeah. Did they mention during this telecast that
if it's pertinent, I'm sure they did.
Yeah, no, that Jordan had said that Kobe was better than Carter. Remember when he said that last year? I mean, this guy. That's got to be playing in Carter's mind somewhere every time he goes up against Michael, that he disrespected his North Carolina guy, you know, and then for Michael to say that Bobby Hurley is better. I mean, that.
No, the story. No, that's where you need the great shot. But you know, how about the story from the first time they met this year, though, when Michael revealed that Vince asked him for his cell phone number while they were there, and Michael said, "I knew I had him at that point," because he had a huge first half. Carter did, and then got shut down. No field goals.
Yeah, I don't like to hear that. That's sad.
Well, I think Michael
he did that. Oh, please.
But I think Michael realizes that they have a realistic shot of being in the playoffs. And one of the teams that they're going to be facing in the first round possibly is Toronto. So if they get to the playoffs, Toronto, Boston, you notice the guys he always talks about in his interviews, Paul Pierce, Vince Carter, Allen Iverson. Those are the guys that he knows he's going to have to face in the first round.
51.
Planting that seed.
51-46 is the score at the half. The Raptors have the lead.
Inhibit, huh?
You know, inhibit.
Pretty good.
Bin Bryant.
Don't inhibit me tonight. What's your comment?
Inhibit. We're going to go behind the screens when we come back. And
you can name somebody the inhibitor.
The AT&T Halftime Report is brought to you by AT&T, proud sponsor of the NBA.
In the NBA.com slam dunk presented by ENunn, it's quite a field we have there, Mr. Smith.
I like this field. This won't be the boring dunk contest that it was last year.
Desmond Mason and Jason Richardson and Gerald Wallace. And
Desmond won it last year.
Log on to NBA.com or AOL keyword NBA.com to be part of real-time online judging of the slam dunk.
One dunker doesn't make a dunk contest.
Thank you very much. That was profound. Hey, it's time to go behind the screens. That's why we're out here on the stools. And
don't inhibit me, Kenny.
Yeah. Been crying. And anyway, and Franklin Street's in Chapel Hill. The Milwaukee Bucks still lead the Central Division. Now it's by 2 on the loss side over Toronto. They lose on national TV on NBC the other day to Philadelphia, a game they should have won.
Plug.
Well, a game they should have won. Afterwards, George Karl, as he is wont to do, kind of let loose. And, you know, I don't know how much time people listen to this or if it's gotten old, but, hey, either I've got to go or one of our frontline guys has to go. This is a selfish team, and on and on and on. Why are things as they are in Milwaukee? And might something happen along those lines? Either George Karl's not around or one of the big 3 goes?
Well, you know what, Ernie, as a columnist, as a sports writer, I applaud guys when they speak out like that. You know, great copy for us, you know. and our readers. But as a friend of George's, or or somebody who was working for the organization or something, I would tell George Karl and Jeff Van Gundy and Rick Pitino and all those guys and Isaiah Thomas that go off in press conferences on their players. That definitely shouldn't happen. Okay. Having said that, you should keep it behind closed doors. Okay. That's where I'm coming from. But having said that, obviously it's true what's going on there. Those guys are being very selfish. One guy has to get his numbers, then the other guy feels he's got to get his numbers, and that's been going on. Yeah, they've got enough talent to probably win the division, maybe win the conference in the end, but that stuff is going on. So something has to be done, and the players obviously, Kenny, don't believe George or management that they can do something. Your man Cassell was quoted saying, hey, ain't nobody going to be quoted here. What are they going to do, trade me for Travis Best?
Well, I think that one thing that George was trying to imply was, first he said, it has to be something done internally. Where this team, you have to change your attitude. And I think that was the biggest thing that he's trying to push, is a change of attitude. But I really believe that there are times in an NBA season that you have to wake your team up. And the only way to wake them up is to let them know and call guys out in the paper.
Publicly?
Because what happens publicly, now it becomes front page news, and not only the 12 guys are watching what's going on, the world is watching. So
Kenny,
that play a little bit more focused.
I totally disagree, because then it becomes open season on whoever says that. The coach is able to go after the players, then players can go after the coach, and then it's bedlam,
Well, what happens though the other way, Pete, is you get sources tell me, or I don't think that they are playing well. I hate when guys say there's a source or they. Point out those guys. Sometimes you got to point out those guys on the team. Everyone knows that those are the big guys on that team. That they have to make something happen.
This is not the first time this year he's done this. He's gone after Glenn Robinson for a time, and all of those guys have come into the crosshairs with him at one time or another.
I just don't respect coaches or players who do it in public. Again, as a writer, fine, we love it, but I don't respect it. I covered Red Holzman as a coach for many, many years with the Knicks, both times. He never did that. He never gave his players away to the media, afterward. And we all hated covering Red because he gave us nothing good to write about. We all respected him, and his players loved him for it.
Quickly, what would you have preferred if Rudy T called you into his office and said, look, we need to do this, or if he went to the press and said, Kenny Smith is, he has no leadership.
But what good coaches will do, they will tell you first. Rudy T, sometimes we didn't see eye to eye, but he'd tell me first, and then I'd read the same thing he told me in the paper. I might not like it, but I got to respect it because he told me that. And I know George Karl probably told them the same thing.
Cassell better be careful, Kenny, your boy. He might get traded.
Hey, on this last thing, Cassell said, hey, just blame me. Everybody blames me for everything else.
But Derek Finch, he wouldn't mind that.
I don't see that one.
Back to wrap things up on the AT&T halftime report in just a minute. Here on TBS, 51-46, the Raptors have the lead over the Wiz.
Derek makes too much money.
That is a decent.
The AT&T Halftime Report has been brought to you by AT&T, proud sponsor of the NBA.